Taking notes during lecture is one of the least enjoyable parts of post-secondary life. As the writer's cramp creeps up and your hands clench and seize, our writing gets harder and harder to read. These notes, however, are vital and cannot be taken for granted. Everything that the professor says is testable. Somehow, we need to collect all of these facts floating towards us and hoard them in our heads for later use. With this as our priority, we often do not want to pay much attention to anything except the words coming at us, let alone what our notes look like in the instant. But this is something that we have to keep in the back of our minds. Today, we are going to count down the top 10 reasons why you should be leaving ample space in your notes. We will also break down why it is so useful and what you can do with all that room later. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all our fresh content. If you like learning with us and growing your mind, please give us a thumbs up. This small show of support helps us out so much and also allows others to find our content easier when they need it. So go ahead and pay it forward, so that you can still read them if your writing gets too messy. If you have not read the textbook before class, this may be your first exposure to the material under study. This can cause you to want to take much more detailed notes than you would if you were more familiar with the material. This can often cause the notes to be messy if you fall behind, or if you do not completely understand some of the information. Leaving space on the page will reduce crowding if your penmanship gets sloppy from trying to keep up. It will also be more forgiving if you have to add extra notes for added context or clarification, so that you can consolidate lecture notes and textbook notes. Textbooks are mandatory for a reason. Usually, students need more clarification than a lecture period allows. Textbooks also offer a different perspective or wording. Taking notes from your textbook, in addition to those taken from your lecture, is crucial to receiving a full understanding of the topic under study. Consolidating these two sets of notes can deepen your understanding of the concept, and keeping them all in the same place ensures you recognize the links between the information, so that you can consolidate easily. Leaving plenty of room in your notes will allow you to consolidate the information from multiple sources in one place. This is useful even if you intend to copy all your rough notes onto a cleaner final copy. Having the room to elaborate directly onto the lecture notes will cut down on the accumulation of redundant information. With adequate space, you can gather information from several sources, including other reference materials or even documentaries. All of these extra facts can then be incorporated directly into a single entry so that rearranging and writing out all of the data from a single source is simple, and your complete focus can be on organizing the information about the permanent page, so that you can write a summary paragraph. The best way to prove that you understand something is to explain it in your own words. When you are done studying and elaborating on a topic, you should be writing a brief summary on it in your own words. Rather than adding this on a separate sheet of paper, leave space at the bottom of the page or entry so that it is always with the corresponding notes. This way, when you look back during revision, you have not only the prompt in your own words, but the raw data should you require clarification or reminders, in case the professor adds to them the following class. Professors are only human, just like the rest of us. It is possible that they can forget to mention something or think of another way of explaining a piece of information. Often, prompted by a question or email received after class, a professor will revisit previous information to add clarification or some new details. This should be added to the original notes, and leaving space there will ensure that there is room to do so. Insert definitions. Every time you learn a new word, it, along with its definition, should be added to your notes. There will be times when you learn words in lecture that are not defined or incompletely defined. leave room to look them up and add their definitions after class. Depending on the subject, some definitions will be much more involved. For example, anatomy. If you are given the name of a muscle, there will be several pieces of information that are required to define it. You will need to know where it's located, what the components of the name mean, where does it originate, where does it insert, what motion does it cause, and what is the antagonistic muscle that it corresponds with. There will be many different examples depending on your discipline of study. What is important here is that you leave adequate space to fully flesh out all of the details and definitions of all of the concepts you are given. Insert hand-drawn diagrams. Diagrams are vital for visual learners. They are also second to none when it comes to demonstrating cycles or dynamic events. Anytime you can use a diagram in your notes, the investment should be made into creating one, preferably by hand, but that's for a different video. Leaving the space while taking your notes in lecture will allow you to add these diagrams at your leisure. When you return home, you can take the time to create, label, and color-code a diagram to quickly explain and clarify the concept under discussion. Creating your own diagrams are invaluable, not only to your understanding, but also to your ability to communicate the details. Redraw these diagrams to test yourself or to clarify your understanding on the exam when you have difficulty coming up with the words. This will often save time and translate your thought process much more quickly than paragraph upon paragraph of writing. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. In case you miss something or the teacher talks too fast. When you are deep in frenzy writing mode, dodging the word salad coming at you, sometimes your hands have a mind of their own. You are going to be scribbling stuff down so frantically that it's highly probable that you're going to miss a few words. Try at a minimum to double space your notes, just in case you have to add more words once you get home. You will not always have the time, in real time, to read back and make sure your sentences make sense. In case you find yourself struggling with the material. Sometimes, during class, you are so busy listening to the professor and trying to take in the information that you don't fully appreciate how difficult the concept is. You are sitting there, taking your best notes, agreeing and understanding the entire time. Later, when you revisit them, you realize that on your own, you really don't understand the concept as well as you'd like. You read your textbook and elaborate on the notes further, but there's still something missing. Your brain just cannot complete that connection. Something like this we cannot ignore. We are going to need to pull out the big guns and further research this, or email the professor, or visit them during their business hours. We watch a documentary and research some tutorial videos on YouTube, and all the while, we are accumulating more notes. These should be added in the same space left on the original notes so that we can revisit all of the facts when we study for the final. Put different concepts on different pages. Try to have only 1 or 2 concepts on a single page. This will leave the space to further delve into the specifics and fine details that are vital for you to deepen your understanding of the topic. The deeper your understanding, the less likely you are to organically forget it. For longer and more detailed concepts, leave lots of space. Try to triple or even quadruple the lines, especially if it's a topic that you feel that you're going to struggle with or have a hard time understanding. It is best to leave plenty of room now to add the rough notes you need, even if you plan on rewriting them later. What note-taking method do you use in lectures? Does it allow you to leave the extra space for later? Share in the comments below. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. If you are so inclined, give us a thumbs up so we know you want more videos like this. Also, check out our website to get exclusive content and study materials. Just click the link in the description. Or, since you're already here, check out our study hacks and our organizational tips playlists to help you stay on top of not only schoolwork, but life as well. Be absolutely prepared, absolutely confident, absolutely stunning, with absolutely studying.